When most people think about investing in the stock market, they dream about investing in a fast grower, a company that is growing at over 25% a year. At 25% a year, a company's profits will double in 3. They quadruple in 6. They go up 8-fold in 9 years. That's how you get a huge stock in a decade. There's not a lot of these, but they're very powerful. And the best part is, you don't have to catch them just as they're taking off. The beauty of growth companies is you have plenty of time. If they're going to grow for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, you don't have to be there the first year or the second year. You could have bought Walmart 10 years after they went public and made 30 times your money. What makes a company grow earnings so quickly? Either it is a rapidly growing industry, or it's a rapidly growing company in a slow growth industry. Rapid revenue growth and rapid earnings growth are the hallmarks of a fast grower. But you just can't buy any stock with hot earnings and hot sales. You have to check the balance sheet and make sure the company can keep growing. One way you can look at growth companies is think of baseball. A normal baseball game has 9 innings. You should look at a growth company and say, I don't want to buy it when they're in the first inning. I want to buy it when they're in the second or third inning. They've got the formula right. They've got lots of room to go. So you want to say to yourself, this is a company that's very early in its cycle, like a McDonald's when they're only in a few stores, or limited when they're only in 100 stores. And they had lots of malls to go to. Microsoft was a company you could have bought 3 years after it went public and made over 20 times your money. Sales and earnings were growing at several times the rate of the companies in the S&P 500 in an industry that was exploding by leaps and bounds. And it had a lot of potential both overseas and domestically. This was only the beginning of a 15 to 20 year growth cycle. You had plenty of time to get involved. There was this amazing company called Superior Industries. I think the stock went up over 100-fold. They were very good at making aluminum wheels. A lot of car companies went to aluminum wheels. The industry for autos wasn't growing. Aluminum wheels were growing dramatically, and they were the best at it. The fast growers get all the attention in the media. But there's nothing wrong with slow-growing stock, provided you get it at a very decent price. Somebody would say to you, I'm going to sell you a business for $100,000, and they're earning $50,000 a year. You say, what's the bad news? Let's say the bad news is the earnings are never going to grow. They earn $50,000 a year forever. So this is a price-earnings multiple of 2. You pay $100,000 for $50,000 of earnings, but they're never going to grow. You say, I don't care. I'm going to get a $50,000 return every year. In 2 years, I get all my money back. So sometimes, even if a company has a very low growth rate in earnings, if the stock is selling at the right price, it may still be a very good deal. A slow to moderate grower will have earnings growth of 3 to 15% a year. One company that I was very lucky with was Service Corp International. It's a funeral home company that bought up local family funeral homes, a very steady business. Service Corp could grow earnings at 15% a year when I owned it with very little problems. A slow grower that turns into a no-grower is a very bad news situation. So when you start researching the stock, look for these signs. Steady earnings growth. Rising dividends. Companies that raise their dividends each year have to have the earnings to do so. A rising dividend is normally a good sign for a stock. Room to keep growing. You want slow growers to go on forever. That's one reason I like Service Corp International so much. This was a great stock for me in the 1980s. At that point, it had a long way to go.